to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we don't have Mrs. Pavo this evening, and Mrs. Polish is running a bit late, so I do expect her at some point. Open forum? No one. No one? Thank you. All right, so we'll move into the consent agenda. We have 3 items: regular session minutes for October 28th, executive session for the same date, and our policy subcommittee meeting minutes for October 28th as well. Can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Motion to accept the consent agenda.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. And I may have slipped up by asking for that motion early. I do want to pull the regular session minutes from October 28th to call out one correction. Mrs. Carolyn, Mrs. Mendes. So if I'm going to take my motion back, ask for a motion for all, to accept all of the school committee minutes, the executive session only, and the policy subcommittee minutes. Make that motion.
Motion to accept that.
And Kim?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. With respect to the minutes, the regular session minutes from October 28th. Sorry, I'm a little rusty tonight, I think. Mrs. Mendes, you note that Mrs. Pavo is both in attendance and absent. Yes. She was absent. Yes, she was absent. Yeah. We corrected it. Not on the version we got in our packets. So if you could just make sure that the final version is correct. Thank you. Okay, so may I have a motion to accept the regular session minutes from October 28th with that one correction?
Motion to accept the minutes with the correction.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor? Okay, thank you very much. All right, I'm going to ask the members if we could please move up item 5 from our agenda to take it up next. Our Tiverton High School Girls Soccer Championship recognition. We have some fresh faces in our audience this evening, so I welcome you all. And who's going to speak first?
I will, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
I first want to recognize our Rhode Island State Representative, Michelle McGaugh, who's with us tonight. Thank you, Representative, for being here this evening. We are just thrilled to honor the Tiverton High School girls soccer team. The girls varsity team capped off an exceptional season with a dominant 15-3-1 record. How's this mic? It's not working too well, is it? All right, good. Earning the number 2 seed in the playoffs and securing the Division IV state championship for the 2nd consecutive year. Their success was driven by an explosive offense that scored 91 goals and a disciplined defense. I'm just going to hold and use a different mic here. Thanks. But I think it's the speaker, not the mic, so let's see. We'll give it just a minute. Test, 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 check. We're good? Okay. Can everybody hear me? No. Test, test. All right. I'll start again. And I'll stand to project my voice here. All right, girls, we are thrilled to honor you this evening. And for the good of the public, you should know that the girls varsity team capped off an exceptional season with a dominant 15-3-1 record, earning the number 2 seed in the playoffs and securing the Division IV state championship for the 2nd consecutive year. Their success was driven by an explosive offense that scored 91 goals and a disciplined defense that recorded 8 shutouts, an accomplishment made possible by contributions from every member of the team. In the past season, the girls defeated Hope High School 10-0 and Davies High School 2-1 before edging Lincoln School 2-1 in the state championship at Rhode Island College. The team was led by senior captains Olivia Costa and Adeline Messenger. The postseason honors included an all-tournament team of Sarah Poland, Tori Murray, Beatrice Pimentel, and Leah Comito, and an all-academic team of Nora Winslow, Sarah Poland, Tori Murray, and Olivia Costa. An all-division selections first team of Tori Murray, Leah Comito, second team Olivia Costa, and third team Sarah Poland. All-state team of Leah Comito and Olivia Costa, and an all-star team of Leah Comito, Olivia Costa, and Tori Murray. This outstanding collection of honors reflects the team's depth, discipline, and dedication both on the field and in the classroom. Their back-to-back state titles firmly establishes this team and Tiverton soccer as one of the premier programs in Rhode Island. Congratulations to the team, to their coaches Jim Gouch and assistant coach Tom Murray. Congratulations, girls. Well done. There's some certificates for you here. I'll ask the coaches to come up. The girls, and I think I have yours. And you feel free to call them up one by one so they can receive their honor.
Oh my God. Okay, first name, Avery Bonner. Second, Sam Borden. Next one, Leah Comito. Next one, Avery Craig. Thank you. Next one, Maddie Duckett. Next one, Olivia Costa. Morgan Damano. Taylor Faria. Okay, all right. Kennedy Heifert. Next one, Addie Messenger. It's a tough one. Tori Murray. Next one, Addie Pimentel. Beatrice Pimentel. Good job, Bea. Sarah Poland. And the last one, Nora Winslow. I don't think she's here, right? Sorry, I'm sorry, one more. Last one, Sydney Olivera.
And I just want to extend my congratulations. My name is Michelle McGaw. I'm the state representative for District 71, which includes Tiverton. And I know that you are all recognized in front of the town council, but I wanted to make sure that you are recognized here by the House as well. And so I offer my heartfelt congratulations. It's truly an honor to be able to congratulate you 2 years in a row on this championship. And I'm just so pleased with the work that you've done, the great job that you have done. And I hope that you will take the lessons that you have learned as being part of this team, what you can accomplish when you work together collaboratively towards a common goal. And I think that will carry you forward in some really positive ways. So I just wanted to say congratulations from myself and from the House of Representatives.
And again, thank you, Representative McGaw, for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Same goes to you. Okay, now that we have our usual accompaniment. One, two, three, four. Oh. Thank you, Michelle. At this time, we'll back up in our agenda to the superintendent update. Mr. Haskins.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm happy to share a number of honors earned by members of our community over the last month. First, we want to congratulate science teacher, 8th grade science teacher Maria Clarey, who was awarded a $500 grant from the American Association of University Women. This grant will provide a concrete, hands-on, and visual experience that will support key concepts with scientific practices, particularly in genetics and cell biology units in our 8th grade science program. So congratulations to Mrs. Clarey. Our grade 4 and 5 Girls on the Run season has concluded. There was a joyful, non-competitive 5K run at the University of Rhode Island, giving the girls a tangible sense of accomplishment. The girls practiced for 10 weeks for this race. I want to congratulate all of the runners and the coaches. We have some accomplishments from musicians at the middle school. Congratulations to the following Tiverton Middle School musicians who auditioned for the Rhode Island Junior All-State. Over 1,200 of Rhode Island's top student musicians auditioned for the honor to perform at the Rhode Island Music Educators Association's All-State Festival in March. And we want to congratulate Kylie Botello, grade 8 tuba, and Ronan Roberts, grade 8 viola, who were accepted into the Rhode Island Junior All-State Band and Orchestra, respectively. Also, a special shout out to Kylie Botello for placing first in the state in tuba. This is the second consecutive year that a Tiverton Middle School musician has placed first in the state. Continuing with the honors at the middle school, Tiverton Middle School participated in the Tiverton VFW Patriots Pen Essay Contest. Congratulations to this is a nationwide youth essay contest run by the Veterans of Foreign Wars, giving middle school students a chance to reflect on America's history, their role in society, and what patriotism means through writing a 300 to 400 word essay. This year's theme was, how are you showing patriotism and support for our country? We want to congratulate the first place Tiverton Middle School contest winner Addison Riendo, second place Ava Sylvia, third place Allison Wilkie. These winners will be honored at an awards ceremony at the Tiverton Veterans of Foreign Wars Hall in January. Our 6th graders at the Tiverton Middle School recently participated in a field trip to the Freedom Trail in Boston, Massachusetts. I remember going when I was in middle school. I'll bet you do as well. So we want to recognize all of our teachers and chaperones who took the students to that trip in Boston. This walking tour contains historically significant sites that enrich the study of events leading up to the American Revolution. As you probably have experienced, this trail tour is led by well-informed guides who are dressed in colonial costumes from the Freedom Trail Foundation. So a lot of attention towards Tiverton Middle School during this school committee meeting for their honors. Congratulations to all involved.
Thank you very much. And again, I don't know, Mr. Zitoli's not with us this evening, but I did want to congratulate him for making sure that the community at large is seeing all of these wonderful accomplishments from our middle schoolers. And interestingly enough, I just realized, right, we have a teacher, we have students, we have athletics, music, academics, all highlighted in one session. A lot of good things going on, and I do congratulate all of you, all the kids, all the teachers who are helping make this happen. Okay, we'll move on to general business, the fun stuff. Item A, vote to approve a new club at Tiverton High School, Dungeons and Dragons. Dr. Keough.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here tonight, especially with these young people. I have Scarlett, Winter, and Ben, and they wanted to just briefly tell you what it is that's driving this this push for a Dungeons and Dragons club. So if it's okay, I'd like to turn it over to them.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
So for those of you who don't know, D&D, or which is short for Dungeons and Dragons, is a tabletop board game. It's sort of like fantasy games you see online, but you play it in person and on a table. It involves a lot of teamwork, creativity, and I personally have learned a lot from it. What drove me to make this club is I had a D&D club in the last middle school I went to, which was Middletown. And in that club, I learned to be more out of my shell. I gained friends that I still have to this day, and my personal writing ability, I feel, grew because I was making characters, worlds for all the different games that we had. And I personally would like to give that experience to more kids because it really helped me be, well, who I am today. And I mean, of course, I also just did it for fun because D&D is a very fun game, and I wanted to have that in a school environment where it's more accessible. I believe that's it for my part, honestly. If you do have anything to say.
Thank you.
It also fosters community. It allows new kids that maybe don't have as much of a say in their normal day lives to have a say, because everyone has to say something, everyone has to play, and everyone gets to make their own characters. It's not something that you just sit behind and kind of let other people guide you like other games. It also allows for inclusion of everyone, and it allows for people, no matter what they're doing, if like they need just a day to like go off and escape, it allows that, and allows you to kind of like take a break and then regroup. So I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah, thank you. You gotta talk.
It also allows a lot of fun things. I was supposed to come dressed as my character with an elf and a cloak. I could not find what toad it was in. But it also, like Scarlett said, I had a D&D club at Tiverton Middle School, and they started it 6 weeks before I came to the high school, and it was awesome. And he actually carried it out into the summer because we were only able to play for so little. And Mr. Anos is a great guy, and I have always loved D&D, and I would love to participate in this club if it became a thing.
So, I just share with you very quickly, I heard you say it's a tabletop game at this point. I would encourage you to continue with this. I will tell you that I personally know some graduates of Tiverton High School who many years post-graduation continue to play D&D weekly. They don't live in Tiverton anymore, most of them. They're playing online with one another. They have long-term campaigns, and it is a bond that's keeping them together. My guess is going to be for their lives. So it's absolutely, every point you've made is, it's creative. I think it'll help you both socially and academically, right? The writing, the creativity, I can't say enough about it.
There's also a fair bit of math involved with dice rolling and
Oh, really?
number adding. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. First, before we go any further, because I really shouldn't have spoken, may I have a motion to approve the new club of Dungeons and Dragons at Tiverton High School?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to add?
I'm just curious, how often are you going to meet?
I do plan for once every Thursday. It would be run from after school till 3:30 was the agreed upon time. And yes, we do have advisors. We have 2 of them, actually. They agreed to co-run it.
And thank you to them.
Yes,
Awesome.
I'm very grateful for them.
They are Mr. Merowitz and
Mr.
Mr.
Merowitz and
Tavares.
Mr. Tavares. Yeah.
Very good. Anyone else?
Sounds like a great way to maybe step out of your comfort zone a little bit, but still have fun doing it, so sounds great.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wish well. Okay, hearing nothing else, all in favor? That is unanimous.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Nice presentation, guys.
Yeah, very good. Okay. Next up, we have review of November enrollment. Mr. Haskins?
Thank you, Madam Chair. You have in front of you November's enrollment as well as October's enrollment. As requested, this month's enrollment identifies any changes that are highlighted in pink. Currently, we have 1,422 students enrolled in the Tiverton School District, 9 students at the Fort Barton Transition Program, 226 students at the Ranger Elementary School, 188 students at the Pecasset Elementary School, 595 students at the Tiverton Middle School, and 404 students at Tiverton High School. We have slight changes to enrollment from October for students who have disenrolled or who have newly enrolled in the district. And you can see we have also included district outplacements, students who are homeschooled, career and technical education programs outside of Tiverton, charter schools, private schools. These are students who are enrolled in private schools but receive services from the Tiverton School Department. Students with alternative learning plans, which is allowed by Rhode Island general law. And we have a subtotal here of students out of school at 222 for a total of 1,644 students. Included are the class sizes from pre-K to grade 4. Keep in mind that some of the class sizes will include students who are in other classrooms as well. For example, we have a K1 and a 2-3 intensive special education program. Those numbers are included in the general education classroom to which those students are assigned. And then we also have class sizes for grade 4 at Tiverton Middle School. And as you know, we don't have class sizes for grades 5 through 12 because of the way that schedules work in grades 5 through 12.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions on this?
I do. I noticed that there was, in October, the homeschool number was 84, and then in November, it's 89. Is the school committee supposed to be approving those extra 5 students?
Yes, school committee approves all homeschool requests that are brought to you for recommendation.
Okay, so,
So can we assume we'll see it in January?
We will see those in January. There was a clerical error with bringing those approvals to you.
Okay. Fair enough.
and I was still looking, is the Aspen all set now? I'm still looking for the backup for that.
As you know, we do not have a data manager in the Tiverton School District. This report was compiled using the Aspen export to the Rhode Island Department of Education, combined with numbers that are kept by the Office of Student Services for district outplacement, homeschool, and private schools. So short answer is no, we do not have an Aspen report. Due to the complexity of the Aspen program and the lack of a data manager currently in the Tiverton School District.
Who's reconciling them? Is it a combination of like Brendan and Sarah, or like, with
Yes.
the principals, so you kind of all look at it and go, all right, this makes sense?
Yes, it's a combination of Brendan, Sarah, Chris Giannini, and myself.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, excuse me, and Dan Andrade.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Aspen has all the correct numbers. There's no room for error, like,
Well,
that's why I was looking for that.
to be honest with you, I'm kind of happy with this format. It's very concise. I will say it's actually more prescriptive than it ever has been. So I do want to thank you for that. And a lot of that is Mrs. Parkett asking for additional information on that, so I do appreciate that. Okay, anything else on this? All right. We'll move on to item C, vote to accept 45 music chairs from the Falls Music Center. Mr. Andrade.
Yes, on behalf of Dr. Keough and Luke Bain from the music department, we would like the school committee approval to accept 45 music chairs from Falls Music Center located in Phillips Academy in Andover, Mass. Per Mr. Bain, these chairs are valued at approximately $200. So with 45 chairs, that's an estimated total donation of $9,000. So we would recommend that the school committee accept this donation of 45 chairs for the music department. I will add, they also have a maroon cushion, so they fit right in Tiverton.
Do I have a motion to accept this donation of 45 music chairs with an estimated value of $9,000?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any other comments, questions?
Where are we using them? Are they replacing, like on the stage? Are they replacing ones in the classroom?
Combination mostly on the stage.
Mostly on the stage?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna, once we, if accepted, once received, Mr. Bain and his music team, Miss Cundy, Mr. Bain, and the whole program is gonna go through and inventory everything, so,
Great,
yeah, yep.
good, thank you. And
When-
thank you to Falls Music Center.
When do they plan on picking these up?
I'm forgetting when Mr. Mendes planned on using the trailer to pick them up. I would have to get back to you. Yep.
I would guess, though, that it would be after the winter concerts.
No, it would be
Try to
short,
get 'em
like
before?
this week, next week.
Oh, very good.
I just forget what day. It could be tomorrow, because he wanted to do it on a rainy day.
Oh, okay.
So I know it's supposed to rain tomorrow, I'm just forgetting what day. There's a lot going on, so.
Anyone else? All right, hearing none, all in favor? All right, unanimous, thank you very much. Item D, vote to accept Lego grant in the amount of $2,627.20 for the Tiverton Middle School Lego Club.
Miss Susan Ferry, who is a parent of Tiverton School District children, who also runs the Lego Club at the middle school, approached me and Principal Zitoli and Principal Kellett on applying for a grant through DS AmeriCorps. So I'm happy to announce that that grant has been accepted, has been approved, and we also received the amount of $2,627.20. So I bring it to you this evening for approval to officially accept that amount and turn it back over to the student funds at the middle school so they can make a purchase and increase their inventory at for the Lego Club.
All right, motion to approve the acceptance of $2,627.20 grant from DS AmeriCorps.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Are there any comments or questions?
Just thank you to Mrs. Ferry. That's
Yes.
great.
And so she was the one that actually wrote the grant?
No, I wrote the grant, she presented it to me. Yeah.
Okay, great. So thank you to Mrs. Ferry and to you
Yeah.
for writing
Yeah.
that grant. It's always great to be able to get some free money.
Absolutely.
I can only imagine how many Legos I'd be able to buy with those. But I'm sure there's,
Yeah, there is a list of purchases to be made, I just don't have it this evening, but obviously the grant had to tie into what's actually being purchased. That's why
Yeah.
you see a dollar figure of 20 cents, so.
That's great for the kids.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
all right, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is high school state assessment results. Dr. Keough and Ms. Kraeger.
Okay, thank you. Tonight, we'll be sharing Tiverton High School's 2025 state assessment results across the SAT, PSAT, and NGSA science assessment. Our goal tonight is to look at strengths, identify areas of continued growth, and highlight how our instructional planning is responding to what the data shows. The data you'll see will reflects the work of our students, teachers, our building level administrators, and will help guide our priorities for the upcoming year. Throughout this presentation, I do have help from Dr. Keough, Sarah Gray, the department head for English Language Arts, and the department head for Science, Lee Cusimano. So starting with the SAT focuses on two major domains. Evidence-based reading and writing, which assesses the student's ability to read complex text, use evidence, and demonstrate essential writing and language skills. Mathematics emphasis is on algebra, problem solving, and data analysis. Mathematical reasoning, which is most linked to college and career readiness. Beyond those two content areas, the SAT serves as a measure of college career readiness, giving a consistent indicator for us and our students in their literacy and numeracy skills. The SAT is administered statewide and nationally, and it is a comparative indicator for us. So it allows Tiverton to not only compare against Rhode Island, but also national expectations as well. So this first slide here just looks at the participation over the last 3 years, which stands out immediately as Tiverton High School consistently maintains exceptionally high participation rates. And this is critical because it ensures the results truly represent our entire student body. Reaching 100% last year is a tremendous accomplishment, and we just have to shout out that it was a coordinated effort with our students, families, guidance counselors, teachers, and our previous principal, Susan Craven, who helped support this process. So the first area we will review is the evidence-based reading and writing domain. The benchmark for college and career readiness in this domain is 480, so that helps us see what percentage of our students are meeting or exceeding those expectations. So in 23 and 24, I just want to note out that there was a shift in the assessment and how it was administered. That shift did go to a digital SAT, both in the reading, writing, and math. But even with that change, you see there that our average was 491, remaining strong and well above the state average. And this past year, THS is at 485, again, outperforming the statewide average. So again, what is important here is the consistency year over year. Even transitioning to a new format, our students continue to meet or exceed benchmark and stay ahead of the statewide results each year. And then if we dig into the evidence-based reading and writing a little bit more and review our strengths and celebrations, across all of the domains, 46 to 59% of our grade 11 students are meeting or exceeding expectations. So this tells us we have a solid core of students demonstrating proficiency and essential reading and writing skills that are tied to college and career readiness. We also see a particular strength in standard English conventions and information and ideas. In these areas, 57 to 59% of our students meet benchmark, and we have 16 to 17 students who are performing at the highest level, which is a strong indicator of rigorous instruction and strong foundational skills. Another positive trend we see is in the craft and structure and expression of ideas domains. We have 27 to 35% of students that are near benchmark, and it's important to point this out because this group represents a substantial opportunity for growth. These students are very close and could reasonably meet the benchmark with targeted instructional support. And finally, we have a group of high-performing students, 9 to 17 students per domain, who demonstrate that readiness for advanced coursework and college-level literacy.
Before you go any further?
Yep.
Would you mind if we stopped for questions on this slide in
Sure.
particular? I hate to break
Nope.
your cadence.
That's
but
okay, I might have
when we go back,
Miss
it's a
Gray.
little more difficult.
Yeah, that's okay.
Could you explain what it means when you say, for example, the first bullet, 46 to 59%? Why is it a range and not an exact
Because it's
percent?
all 4 domains.
And
So
those-
of the domains of the standard English conventions, information and ideas, craft and structure, and expression of ideas.
Okay.
So within all 4 of those, we have between 46% and 59%.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
And that's why you also.
Then I just break it down a little bit.
Speak to ranges in the number of students
Exactly.
as well.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, it's good. So although we have clear strengths that we just reviewed, we do have areas of growth as well. So looking at those 4 domains, starting with craft and structure, we have 26% of our students below benchmark. But again, we have 27 that are near proficiency. So this tells us we just need to really continue strengthening our analytical reading routines, especially around students how they interpret or the interpretation of authors' choices and structure. And you're going to hear a little bit from Mrs. Gray on how we're going to be doing that. For expression of ideas, we do see this is a promising growth area. 26% remain below average, but 35 are within the reach of proficiency, 35%. So this is one of our largest kind of almost there group of students, representing a meaningful opportunity to lift that overall performance into targeted writing instruction. The third domain of standard English conventions, I talked about that being a relative strength. However, we still have 28% of students below benchmark. So we need to continue to consistently work on foundational writing skills, such as like editing, grammar, and general writing fluency. And then finally, in information and ideas, which is our strongest domain that I spoke about in the strengths, we still have 22 students that are below benchmark. So we just need to make sure that we are working with our students or a core group of students on comprehension skills like inference, main idea, and evidence use. So across all domains, the students performing at that near benchmark range represent one of our biggest opportunities for impact. With the intentional Tier 1 instructional shifts that Ms. Gray is going to talk about and targeted supports, many of these students could reasonably progress into the proficient range. So I'm going to have Ms. Gray come up and talk a little bit about what our action steps are given this data and what progress monitoring we will do to ensure that that happens.
Please, if you could turn it on so that the recording can catch it. Yeah.
Okay. So we have been putting together in our PLCs an action plan. We did a lot of work on this. So we combed through the data and all the questions and to take a look at where we could strengthen our instruction. One area which Sarah did mention was that the SAT made a shift into digital. So we had previously purchased an SAT Power Prep program, which was amazing. And unfortunately, it's outdated now. And we're really searching hard for a new program that will lend itself to the digital SAT. And we seem, I feel like maybe I should create one and make $1 million because there doesn't seem to be a lot out there right now. There are a lot of teachers across the country that seem to be in the same position as us, looking for this type of program. So that's something we have been working on. We've found a few that we're going to explore for next year. We have in the last year and will continue to increase our intentional vocabulary exposure. There's a decrease in independent reading trends nationally, and that's really contributing to vocabulary exposure. As a lot of students say, like, what can I do to increase my vocabulary besides daily vocabulary lessons we're giving them? And it's truthfully to read. And a lot of it is to start reading when you're young and continue that. So we are increasing vocabulary. My Perspectives, which we have as our curriculum, has a lot of vocabulary embedded in it. So we continue to use that. We also are embedding explicit instruction and practice with language conventions and daily warm-ups. So for example, in my class, students come in, they grab a notebook, they have sentences that they have to correct. I can pinpoint where they need extra help, and then we have targeted lessons. My freshmen did semicolons all last week. So we're doing that in all of our grades, all of our do-nows. We are working to strengthen SAT-aligned reading and test-taking strategies across all content areas. So last year we started with exposing a lot of teachers to what's on the SAT from our standpoint. A lot of the selections are science and social studies based, so it's really important that this is a push across the curriculum, that all teachers are implementing these strategies and working with the students, and we will continue to support the other departments in this. We are this year starting to re-examine the grade 11 curriculum to increase the use of high-quality informational text aligned with SAT expectations. I'm teaching 11th grade this year, and I've noticed there is a little gap in informational text, which are really used on the SATs. So we're looking at switching up some of the units in my perspectives and purchasing some more books that would lend itself more to help these students in that final push before the test. And we're also going to work with expanding use of IXL as a practice platform for targeted SAT grammar and reading comprehension skills in grades 9 through 11. We all use Khan Academy, but we really have found that the students are responding to IXL a lot better than Khan Academy. So those are our action plan steps that we've been working on. We really did this for the SAT and the PSAT, even though there is a separate side for the PSAT. But this is really a push that we're looking for. Should we move on to progress monitoring? All right. We'll be monitoring this once we did with the SAT Power Prep, we could monitor them twice a month. Right now, we're doing a lot of monitoring with Khan Academy. Like, we can assign Khan Academy to students by mastery lesson or by minutes. So we're all finding what works for the age of our students. You know, what works in 9th grade for PSAT is different for 10th grade and 11th grade. But we can assign minutes that students have to complete, you know, within a week, or actually mastery lessons that they have to master, and the class won't move on until 80% of the students have mastered it. So that's through Khan Academy, which is wonderful. We analyze our performance on the do nows, like the semicolons I just mentioned. I'll have a couple questions on an assessment. Maybe, you know, they're reading Letter from Birmingham Jail right now. And when they have a quiz, I'll tack on a couple questions at the end to see their, you know, what they retained or their use of semicolons. So we're constantly monitoring and making sure they're retaining what they've been taught, and then obviously using that in their own reading and writing. We use College Board practice tests, and we do use iReady data to measure growth and identify patterns, strength, and needs over time. So iReady data is the reading test that we give 3 times a year, and that's where we really noticed a decline in the vocabulary before we saw it in the SATs. So we use that to monitor what we our instruction, and we do that in September. We have a test date coming up in January, and then one in May. And that really breaks it down so we can actually talk to individual students and say, hey, you grew here, you need to work on this. So I think it's excellent. So that is how we will be monitoring them. Do you have any questions?
Go ahead.
I do. It's just my thought. I think that some of this stuff should be worked on in middle school a lot more.
Actually, I think are planning on in January, if it works, during our professional development day, having some of our departments get together. So the English departments to get together to talk about, you know, just to talk about the curriculum and where we see strengths and weaknesses. Our students are coming up with the most incredible writing skills. They're really doing a great job. But I think you're correct in sitting down with the middle school and discussing it. I think that would definitely be a great idea.
I think that was it for me.
Great.
Just
Diane, just quickly.
Yeah, go ahead, Deb.
So, do we know from year to year, like, how the test changes? Because I do see that, you know, we usually have a larger gap between us and the state. Does the test change year to year, like what they're asking, what they're focusing on, that maybe accounts for that? Like,
It's the same domains each year.
it is, okay.
Yeah.
But I do want to congratulate you on 100%. That's good.
I also want to ask the question, obviously, we're a small district. We have a small high school. And even though we were at 100% of the student body taking this test in 2025, it still is a drop, a substantial drop from the previous year. So is there a way to understand how the simple population change may have affected the scores, the averages?
I'm not sure if there's like a mathematical way to do that, but
Right.
one could conclude that when there's a less number of students taking the assessment, that would skew those
It becomes difficult to make
results
assumptions.
a little
You
bit.
just can't.
Right, right.
Because of the fact that we're so small. If,
Yeah.
you know, if we had 20,000 kids and, you know, you went year after year at about the same level, then you'd be able to say, yep,
Right.
you know.
Right.
But with our population being so small, I think we all need to, you know, just remember a little bit that
Yeah.
that plays into it as
Well,
well, that the
but-
fluctuations are going to occur more readily with that smaller cohort.
And that's why we thought it was important to put the number of students that took the assessment this year.
But that's why I was looking at 102 versus 95. That's not a huge difference, and I was looking at the gap between state and us, and it's really shrunk. So I mean, I get your point about the 133, but I was kind of looking even a year back. So, and it certainly seems like you're addressing that. You have areas for growth. You have an action plan. You have progress monitoring. That's terrific. I was just sort of noticing that the shrink between us and the state, which I guess, you know, good for the state. Yes.
So the SAT is state mandated, right? Now, is the special education students that have been pushed to RICAS, are they required to take this as well?
The students who are not eligible for an alternate assessment take the SAT.
Wow.
With modifications, though?
Yep.
They have modifications.
There are accessibility
Yeah.
features,
But not a modification, just.
Right, sorry.
accommodations,
Wrong language.
accessibility features.
Too, and there's obviously people that are taking this, students that are taking the exam that have no intention of going to college, too, so.
Well,
They
you're
don't have any
always
skin in
going
the
to
game.
have that.
Yeah.
In addition to a lot of colleges that are test optional. So the importance of the SAT to students has altered over time as well, which I think is really important to note, you know?
Less schools are requiring it.
Right, and certain, like a lot of competitive schools, I think it is on the, I have been telling my students that it is on the rise, all the literature I've read, now that we're past this COVID hump, that there, a lot of schools, because of the increase in college applicants, are starting to implement it again.
Yeah.
And certain states, I believe almost all the colleges in Florida right now require SATs.
Yeah, because, I mean, they're looking for data to differentiate wherever
Right.
they can get it.
Right,
Yeah,
so
I
we
could see that.
reinforce that with our students, but there are a lot of colleges that aren't taking it. So, you know, it's trying to instill the importance of this to the students as well when they're not going to be using the test.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You'll see Sarah again when we go over the PSAT. All right, moving on to our math performance over the past 3 years. That is a comparable, again, with the state. The college and career readiness benchmark for math is 530. Again, 23-24, new shift to digital SAT. Our average dipped slightly to 463, but we did remain above the statewide score of 446. In 2024, or last year, our math average was 450, which is nearly identical to the statewide average of 449. While we remain in line with the state performance, we also recognize that this is an area where we want to focus on strengthening foundational math skills and problem-solving readiness. And you'll see in the later slides how the department is already leveraging this data to drive targeted shifts in their instruction. To highlight several areas of strength in our SAT math performance. First off, our students show the strongest mathematical thinking in the areas most closely aligned to real-world reasoning, problem solving, and data analysis. And it's important to know that this sort of instruction also takes place in our science classes. So here, 46% of our students meet or exceed benchmark expectation, which tells us that they're able to apply mathematical concepts to real-world contexts, interpret data, and solve multi-step problems effectively. We also see strong foundational skills in algebra, geometry, and trigonometry. This demonstrates that many students have a solid grounding in essential math skills, and it positions them well for continued growth in more advanced math content. Another notable strength in this year's results is the percentage of students performing at the highest levels. So you can see the percentages there in each of the domains. These students show exceptional mathematical reasoning and are demonstrating readiness for higher level coursework. Taken together, these strengths show that our students are developing strong quantitative reasoning skills, and they provide a solid foundation for our continued work in strengthening mathematics instruction across the high school. So while we are encouraged with some of our strengths, we certainly have some areas of growth as well in some of the math domains. In problem solving and data analysis, 32% of our students are performing below benchmark, even though we had nearly half meeting or exceeding expectations. So, this tells us that we need to continue strengthening students' abilities to apply math reasoning in real-world contexts, especially with multi-step problems. We were able to dig down and see where some of those gaps were. In advanced math, 47% of students fall below benchmark. This tells us we need a deeper support in the functions and algebraic reasoning and multi-step manipulation, really skills that are essential for that next level of math. In geometry and trigonometry, 32% of students are below expectations, while 31% are near benchmark. Again, that's that group of almost there students that we really want to support to get them to that proficient level with targeted instructional interventions. And then in algebra, this is an area that we are focusing on. 62% of our students are still below benchmark. Even though 38 meet or exceed the expectation, it just reinforces the importance of continuing to strengthen foundational algebraic concepts. And it's really the bedrock, right, of higher level math. And I think we are on to our next steps and action plan, and Dr. Keough is going to report out for our department head, Amanda Velastro, this evening.
Thank you. Yes, so this is actually a really interesting experience for me because I have the perspective as a principal in Massachusetts and as a superintendent in Massachusetts where we don't use SATs as an assessment tool. So I've never had this kind of situation where we're actually using the test that gets used for selection into colleges and universities. So I will just preface it with that. So our next steps that Amanda and her team are talking about, the SAT analysis questions and heart of algebra questions will be added to all assessments. Results will be discussed at PLC meetings to check for growth. One of the advantages of Tiverton High School is, in fact, that there are PLC meetings scheduled into each teacher's weekly schedule, and quite a few. And those can be very beneficial, because the long-time complaint of teachers was that they don't have any time to process these things. They don't have any time to actually do a deep dive into the data. Our teachers do have that opportunity, and I tip my hat to our department heads who lead those conversations, who actually really take the time to parse out the data. Because if, in fact, we have people who are very close to that line, we can spot that. We can spot those trends, and we can work to address them. So that's an important piece. We also will go through all SAT practice tests and identify practice questions for formative and summative assessments in conjunction with SAVIS SAT practice questions. This again is looking at the tests and having our students be exposed to the kind of material that are in these tests. Just the test taking itself requires a certain amount of skills, so this is practice for them. Khan Academy SAT practice homework in Algebra 2 classes. Students in all subjects will do work in a math journal to be graded once a week. Khan Academy offers an SAT review course online that students will work through during their junior year to prepare them for the exam. Now, one of the things that I think is really critical to mention as we talk about kind of next steps in looking at the data. I spent a lot of time in my career trying to eradicate achievement gaps. Especially in math, why do we see these achievement gaps that seem to, we just do everything to try and address our students who are underachieving, but they just don't seem to go away. And one of the things that I learned in that process is that these foundational skills are, in fact, the foundation on which everything is built. It happens very young, very, very young. And if you look at achievement gaps statistically anywhere in schools, you'll see that the kids tend to start out closer to each other, and then the gap grows over time. And this bottom line doesn't grow with the top line. So if we can address those foundational skills early on, then we think, this is part of our conversation, we think that we can address some of these key problems. Now, as Sarah mentioned, having those conversations with the middle school is where that begins, but it really, and as I've talked to Mr. Haskins about, really it's a conversation all the way through the system. Not just a conversation, but actually looking at what we're doing and making sure we're aligning our work. The progress monitoring of Khan Academy in weekly assignments is one step that we'll be taking. To monitor the progress of SAT questions on assessments and discuss these questions in PLC meetings. Again, making sure we know what it is that they're looking for at College Board. We have people who are getting training at College Board, which I think is an excellent thing, and I have to give Sue Craven a lot of credit. She's put a lot of these things in place, and these are hard things to get in place, PLCs, getting your teachers off to College Board for training in these subjects, or in SATs, or in specifically the AP courses. Use of College Board digital practice tests and iReady to monitor growth throughout the year. Heart of Algebra to check for growth. And this is a test we created using SAT questions to check for understanding. So those are the plans of the math department to try and address some of our challenges.
Thank you. I'll kick it off. And this may be more of a question for you, but Dr. Keough, you probably know it too. The word benchmark was used throughout the presentation for both math and English. Define what the benchmark truly is.
I'm going to do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Please.
Yeah, so the benchmark, the College Board actually comes up with that benchmark, and they look at lots of different data sources for that, including college. They're like level 1 math courses or English courses. And they come up with that benchmark, and what that is an indicator of is that a student who meets that benchmark will most likely go into college and be able to receive a C or greater in that first level of English language arts or math. So it is a predictor for us. If you meet that benchmark, then it's a predictor that you will most likely go to college and be able to pass those math and English classes.
So when colleges or universities require their incoming freshmen to take additional math classes, they could, in fact, rely on those benchmarks to see if they think that the student is prepared for their college level, their entry-level college courses.
And we've certainly read a lot about that happening throughout this country.
Yeah.
I was just curious because it's, it begs the question of whether or not the SAT is the appropriate measure for all high school students. I mean, to Kim's point earlier, right, a lot of these kids are not, a certain percentage of your population doesn't want to go to college. They don't have to. And certainly, we're doing everything we can with the career and technical side of things to, expand students' options for their futures as well. Just, a benchmark of 530, does that mean you can pass, I don't know, beginning calculus at MIT? Or does it mean, it's so interesting that, who comes up with it? And what does it truly mean? Does it mean the students are deserving of a high school diploma? No. It means that they may pass a test in college. Okay. Does that automatically translate to high school success?
Right, and the
Just my editorial on that.
well, I mean, and it's a good point, though, and so is the point that if 100% of our students participate, and we're being compared to the state, and the state does not have 100% participation because school X, Y, and Z only have 75% participating or 80% participating, and there are students who don't show up on that day, don't get tested, and therefore the numbers could be skewed. So statistics, somebody made a quote about statistics, Mark Twain perhaps, there are lies, damn lies, and there are statistics. And it's only because you have to really pay attention, because there are ways for them to project something completely different than what you first see in front of you.
And context is so important, that this is just one measure.
It is. It is
of
one data
each of our
source.
students.
Agreed.
But it is a data source
important.
that, right, that compares, that is a comparable data source.
And it's why we look at trends, not just
exactly.
a point in time.
Right.
Because trends tell a story.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, this follows the same structure, so PSAT, grade 10. PSAT, as you know, is the preliminary SAT, which measures the same skills that the SAT measures. So it's aligned with the SAT suite of assessments. And it does give our students the opportunity to take an assessment online like they would do for the SAT. So you can see there, this is our participation rate. Again, consistently high participation rate for the PSAT, which is good to have and see. Our reading language arts. This shows the results over the last 3 years compared to Rhode Island. Across all 3 years, Tiverton students show solid skills in reading comprehension, writing conventions, evidence-based reasoning. These early literacy indicators suggest that many students are on a strong trajectory to approach the SAT in grade 11. Some of the encouraging areas of strength on the PSA within this cohort are reflected here. Again, I just break it up. We break it up in these domains. So in craft and structure, 36% of the students meet or exceed expectations, including 13 high-performing students. This is, again, grade 10. In expression of ideas, we have 37% of students meeting or exceeding benchmarks. 29% are near benchmarks. Again, that indicates that many students are super close to demonstrating consistency in proficient writing for clarity, cohesion, and revision of skills. And then in the domain of information and ideas, this stands out as a clear strength for this cohort, with 52% of our students meeting or exceeding expectations. And 16% of those students, 16 students in that group, perform at the highest levels, which again is a strong indicator of readiness for the literacy demands of the SAT. Areas for growth in the PSAT, English domain and reading domain. Whoops. 37% of students are below benchmark, indicating a need for deeper work. These skills are foundational for success on the SAT, and strengthening them will directly have an impact on comprehension and reasoning. In expression of ideas, 35% of students remain below expectations, and 29 are near the benchmark. Standard English Conventions represents the most significant area of need, where we had 47% of our students below benchmark, and only 4 students exceeded expectations. So this signals a clear need for continued emphasis on grammar, sentence structure, usage, and editing routines. And again, like Sarah, Ms. Gray talked about, it's not just an English class, but it's across all subjects that has to take place. And then even within our strongest domain of information and ideas, we still have 28% of students that are below the benchmark. So again, we know the targeted group, and we will be targeting some of their instruction of comprehension using inference, evaluating evidence, and identifying key ideas. So I'm going to have Sarah just come up quickly again and talk about these scores and looking at them and how that drives our instruction.
All right, so our action plan is really similar for the PSATs and SATs. Sorry. And there's a couple differences. Our 10th grade teacher, Sarah Cabral, this year created a PSAT pretest survey so she could gather data on the students' concerns and strengths and weaknesses. So she also not only took a survey to pre-test them, but also asked them what they thought. Like, where do you feel weak? Where are your strengths? So she could kind of compare that data and take a look at that, and then tailor her instruction to build confidence, even if they were strong in areas, and also build on their weaknesses, which I think is excellent. We are working on the PSAT Khan Academy. There is a course of 10th grade reading and vocabulary, and a separate course just called Grammar to achieve a mastery goal. So that's being implemented currently. And this, we continue to offer, we do offer an SAT prep course. So we also offer that to 9th and 10th graders when there's space left over from the 11th graders, and that takes place this winter. So one of our English teachers does the English portion of that. Progress monitoring really follows with the PSAT pretest will guide the instruction throughout the year with assessments to check on students' knowledge. And if completing the mastery goal assignments, it's monitored through Khan Academy, and they will achieve a goal completion by achieving 80% mastery toward their goal. So just continue doing that continued push. And we start in 9th grade, and the My Perspectives curriculum really has, the SAT strategies embedded in it. So we are really pleased with that.
Thank you so
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. When Sarah meets with her groups, they get to kind of geek out with some of the data and really kind of dig through that and determine what they're going to do. So I love hearing these action plans and progress monitoring. In PSAT math here, you see the results for our students in grade 10. Again, we are performing better than the state for the last 3 years, but this past year, that score you see there looks super similar to what it did look like on the SAT as well. So we're getting a little bit closer to that state average, staying above, but we do want to continue to look like we did in 23, 24, 22, 23. With that said, we do have some strengths to report out. Quickly, in problem solving and data analysis, 37% of students meet or exceed expectations. 9 of those students were high performing at the highest level. In geometry and trigonometry, this area is a clear strength for this cohort because we had 52%, a little over than half of our students meet or exceed expectations, and 11 of them performing at the highest level. And finally, in algebra, it's 34% of our students meet or exceed expectations, including a small but important group who do exceed the benchmark. And areas of growth here, we are looking at opportunities to strengthen really foundational and advanced mathematical skills. 37% of our students are below benchmark in problem solving and data analysis. In advanced math, this is the greatest challenge area for this cohort. We had 57% of our students who are below benchmark. and only 5 students exceeded expectation. So that's an area we'll really be looking at and focusing on in our plans. Geometry and trigonometry, this was our strongest performing domain that I spoke about in the previous slide, but still, there are 33% of students that are falling below expectations. And then finally, in algebra, this is a clear signal that we need to significantly reinforce our foundational concepts, with 47% of our students below benchmark. And we do have, looking at this data, some action plans and progress monitoring.
Yes, sorry. With regard to the next steps in action plan, the SAT analysis questions and Heart of Algebra questions will be added to all assessments, and the results again will be discussed at the PLC meetings to check for growth. They plan to go through all SAT practice tests and identify practice questions for formative and summative assessments in conjunction with SAVIS SAT practice questions. Algebra 1 and geometry classes will use IXL practice at least twice a week. Students in all subjects will do work in the math journal and be graded once a week. In terms of the progress monitoring, obviously monitoring the IXL weekly assignments, monitor the progress of SAT questions on assessments, and discuss these within the PLC meetings. And the Heart of Algebra will be used to check for growth. It's a test that we've created here with SAT questions to test for understanding.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, so kind of going back to Kim's point, what assessment for math do we have at the middle school, and when do we get it?
So we use RIGL up into grade 8.
Okay.
So we just reviewed those results with you, I think, at our last meeting.
And are you seeing similar trends?
So that's what we're going to do. Sarah, Ms. Gray, and Dr. Keough already talked about some of the curriculum mapping, or looking at some of these scores and those areas of strength and weakness and seeing where they match. So we'll be doing that on our PD day, at least in January. If we have to do it in March too, we'll probably, we'll be able to continue
But
that.
we're seeing similar trends in that data.
Exactly.
Because to your point, that algebra,
Yep.
so foundational, and
Right.
if you don't have it,
Right.
nothing else is going to
Right.
make sense after it.
And if you do, I'm not sure if you recall, but you can look back to the elementary math scores, and we implemented that Eureka Math program and
Yes.
Eureka Math 2, and we have seen some increases in those elementary level scores.
Good.
Doing that, using that program and really implementing it with fidelity. So that also is a good predictor that, hopefully we'll continue to see that as the students move up.
Okay. So we'll see the RIGL at a future meeting?
We saw that last time.
Or-
We did.
Oh. Did I miss?
You may have.
Yeah.
We did, September probably.
All right, so we'll move on. Thank you, Dr. Keough. We'll move on to the science, the NGSA science, and this is the last one. I know this is a little lengthy, but we are excited about some of these scores, and all of our students and teachers work really hard, so they get the time here to focus on. So in any event, our NGSA Science Grade 11 measures the students' understanding of science content and skills, which are aligned to the NGSS, which have been adopted by Rhode Island. Those are the next generation science standards. This is cool, though, because unlike traditional science tests that focus primarily on just the recall of facts, the NGSA is really designed to assess how well students can apply scientific concepts, analyze data, use evidence to support claims, and really engage in scientific thinking. So in short, this measures how well students can really think and reason like scientists do. And that is not just for college readiness, but that's really for career readiness and modern problem solving. So here's our NGSA participation, again, consistently high participation rates. And when we look at the performance over the last 3 years, there was no change in the way the assessment was given to the students. But what stands out is Tiverton's consistent pattern of outperforming the state. And last year, we had a significant increase that you can see there, where 47.3% is our highest point in that 3-year span. And the state was 31.6. So a big shout out to the science department and everybody supporting them. Some of the strengths that we see in the NGSA science results. First, our overall performance is strong. 47.3% of our students meet or exceed expectations. Second, we see notable advanced performance. 17.2% of students score at level 4, meaning nearly 1 in 5 students demonstrate advanced scientific thinking and application of NGSS skills. These results show strong readiness for college, career, and STEM pathways. So students are demonstrating the ability to interpret data, apply evidence-based reasoning, and make meaningful scientific connections. And fourth, many students demonstrate strengths in modeling, data analysis, and applying scientific reasoning. And these are some of the most rigorous components of the NGSS, and seeing students perform well here is really an instructional success. Yay. Areas for growth. There are opportunities for students to meet TOR proficiency. So we had approximately 37 students in level 2 who are close to proficiency. Like, this just represents such an opportunity for movement with targeted support, especially through reinforcing the scientific practices. We had 11 students who were at level 1. So we know that these students need more focused support and foundational concepts, so we'll really be able to work with these students and strengthen their core science understanding, and vocabulary will be key for this group. Finally, there's a continued need to emphasize modeling scientific reasoning and applying the concepts to real-world settings, and again, NGSS emphasizes this heavily and is often challenging for some students. So Lee and her team did take a look at these results and have some recommendations for their action plan and progress monitoring.
Hi. It's loud. So first of all, I just want to give a shout out to our team. I'd like to give a shout out to Mark Tavares, Lindsay Urick, Grace Carrero, Lee Merkowitz, who just joined our team, and Dave Ferris is also very new to our team. We work very, very hard on working on these concepts. I just want to shout out that every year that we have gone up, this year we had a 16% rise over the state, and we increased our scores by 6% from last year. So we exceeded what our expectations were as set by the previous administration. A couple of things that we did, and I came to see you earlier in the year about a couple of these things, is that we had purposely changed the order of our courses. So our core content used to be physical science, then chemistry, then biology. And then this is the very first year that we have it in place that biology be for this freshman, chemistry stays right in the middle, and physical science is being offered at the end. That way the students will have a chance with that MAP gap to grow with the mathematical skills. So by the time they get to physical science, they'll have more success. We also have math and a lot of reading included into our biology and chemistry classes as well. So we support our SAT, PSAT development for our math and English teachers. And we work closely with our teachers to look at that. We keep hearing the term PLC, which is a professional learning community. And that's basically not common planning. We have 3 times out of our cycle that each department has a chance to meet with their teammates and to look at data and to make corrections or discussions. So as you'll notice here, I'm just going to look at my phone, I hope, because I can't see that far. So we altered the courses. The new order will support the state's Math Matters initiative as well as math growth for our THS student population. The new order also strengthens scientific reasoning and applying scientific concepts to the real-world settings. Incorporating earth and science space concepts also have to be done. So what happens here, there's 4 main areas being tested in 11th grade. And the students have core classes of biology, chemistry, and physical science. So earth science has to make its way in there somewhere. Excuse me. And in our PLCs, we work very hard to make sure that we hit all of those contents consistently through. So we've mapped that out over a period of time. And we're looking forward to our vertical conversations with the middle school to make sure that we are continually mapping those out. Let's see, in our next slide. Our progress monitoring is going to be basically done in continuing our PLCs. We write very specific assessments. We write very specific midterms, projects, basically focusing on those particular skills. This particular exam is a reading exam. So can the students read data? Can they read a paragraph and interpret what to do with that materials? So we work very closely with what the English department and math department does. So we kind of support each other in the long run. And then we do is we look at NGSA release items and AP type questions. And what we found when we did the analysis is that there was only 11 students that fell into the one level. And that doesn't mean only, that's not, well, anybody in the number one area. But those students, we can work to see how to get them to move through. And then we found that students who are taking more of the AP type classes, more of the advanced classes, are the ones who are succeeding because they have those skills in place about how to read a question, how to analyze data. So our AP classes, our EEP classes are the ones that have been supporting those students. So that's the deep dig we did. And that's where we're at.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Go ahead, Deb.
So, having been on this board for quite a number of years, and I'm sure any of you that have been here are parents, this has been an area of concern, and I want to congratulate you. This is a success story.
Oh, thank you.
I know for any number of years, we were focusing on this. We knew it was an area that we needed to improve in, and you have, and I congratulate you and your team. And I just want to point out that allowing you these the PLC time, allowing that time in our schedule, in our budget, these are the kind of results that you see from allowing you all to work collaboratively when you see issues. But this is a success story, because I know not that long ago, we were really concerned about our science and our science scores. And
Well, we have a tremendous team, so
Yes.
we've had tremendous support from our administrators, and without their support, we wouldn't get there. And I have to shout out for our English and math teachers, who also we collaborate with, so it's the whole team effort. Thank you.
That's it.
I think Mrs. Polish put it extremely well. But I will say, what's old is new again. For those of us who graduated in years gone by, we started with biology, and then we took chemistry, and then we took physics.
The progression's nice. I mean, it really is. And we discussed it for quite some time. And now I also want to bring up the idea that this is last year, because we made that flip. Not many students got a chance, not everybody had a chance to take physical science. So we didn't have 100% of our students. So those are our scores without kids even taking physical science. So we have a crackerjack teachers as our physical science teachers. Right now we have Dave Harris, this came in as our AP physics guy. And he's doing a great job of getting the students to that level. And he's going to be adding those other pieces. So AP Physics is purposely given in on that junior year as an option. So students, we tell them you could take AP Physics or college prep, and as well as honors. And a lot of kids take the AP Physics, so they're taking that extra reading skill that I was talking about.
Very good.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
This excites me because we were able to do this. We can do math. I know we can.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've seen it. It's great. We have great professionals.
Thank you. Everybody in this building works very, very hard. Thank you for recognizing us all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just to close out tonight, thank you, Lee. Tonight's presentation highlights not only where our students are performing well, but really how our teachers are responding with thoughtful and intentional next steps. Our department heads, as you could see tonight, and their teams are really working hard every day to make sure our students are supported, our students are challenged, and prepared for what comes next. So we are proud of the growth too. Thank you for seeing that and recognizing it and supporting all of our teachers as we move forward.
Thank you very much for your presentation as well. Okay, we will move on to the next item on agenda, item F, approved 2026 school committee calendar. So in your packets this week, you have a copy of the schedule for our regular meetings in 2026 from January through December. We will generally meet the second and fourth Tuesday. The exceptions to that would be on weeks where there is a Monday holiday where the town council would be expected to move their meeting to Tuesday. We're going to move ours to Wednesday. And we will also only meet as a regular meeting once per month in June, July, November, and December, which has been our practice for a number of years. So do I have a motion to accept the regular meeting schedule for 2026?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Are there any questions or concerns?
Just that we might want to think about moving policy committee to the first.
I'm sorry?
We might want to think about moving policy committee to the first, because if we do this as 4
Yeah, we
months
can,
that
we can talk
wouldn't-
about that.
Okay.
Yeah. That one's a lot more flexible. This is the one that we have to tell the state, this is what our plan is.
Right.
Okay, all in favor? All right, thank you very much. All right, next up. First read for policy 735, open forum policy. In your packets this week, the policy subcommittee did meet and approved a couple of language changes to this policy, nothing of major substance, a couple of grammatical changes. The changes are highlighted in red in your copy. They're also listed on the school district's website. The only addition here, and this was per my ask, primarily because I've seen, we've had a couple of issues over the past year. Number one, that the persons addressing the committee shall be the same individual who signed in on the log prior to the start of the meeting. You would think that that's makes sense, but it doesn't always come through. And then the rest of the changes here are really just grammatical in nature. Does anyone have any questions?
I did have, a question on this. Yeah. Number 3, not comment or address personnel litigation or negotiations as restricted. Would we want to put language in there to not discuss specific details about a student that's come up before in open forum, in which maybe somebody's going into great detail about?
I think that's a fair question.
We've stopped people before going
I don't
down
know.
that path.
Ben, what have you seen in other districts as far as language regarding kind of getting into too much detail about students? Do you kind of leave it up to the chair to monitor?
Generally, the chair monitors that, but you could also add some language in the policy that reinforces that.
Okay, so why don't we go back and make those changes? Perhaps add that language to item 3 and come back for another first read? Does that sound good with everyone?
Sure.
This way we'll all have the opportunity to look at it fresh. Thank you, Jocelyn.
Thank you.
All right. And then next on item H, policy 373, athletic and student activity funds management policy.
Is this new? There's no red.
So it is
Oh.
going to replace 3 other policies. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Andrade for his background and explanation on this one.
Yep, so, as you know, I'm approaching about 15 months here with the Tiverton School Department, so one thing I finally was able to get into was some policies with the new superintendent on board, and this was one of them. Currently, we don't have great controls, cash controls over athletic and student activity funds management, so something that Chris and I discussed over the summer was getting this going, especially with a lot of turnover we've had in the clerical positions at the high school and middle school. So Dottie Eckersley, who works on my team, she's been the the treasurer that handles a lot of the athletic and student activity funds, and then we have a few at the middle school that's handled by Dawn Oliveira. So basically what we did is we took 3 policies, 370, 71, 72, and turned 373 into a athletic and student activity funds management. A lot of this is similar to what those policies said, but it's just kind of adding on to the collection and safekeeping, the receipts and record keeping, petty cash, and distributions of each athletic and student activity fund. So a lot more cash controls around these type of activity funds, including receipt books, tickets at games, so we can compare actual tickets that are given out to the money that's coming in through athletics. And similar, any cash is, again, receiving a receipt. It's actually a 3-way receipt. One to, for instance, if there's a class advisor, the class advisor is receiving a receipt. The treasurer that's recording everything is receiving a receipt, and one staying in the book for the building principal. So a lot of cash controls around that's being managed with the same care and accountability and transparency for all the different district funds that we have. I hope that makes sense. There's quite a few student activity funds we have, including the athletic account, so.
Okay. Before we go any further, though, with any questions with respect to the content, you mentioned in this policy draft that you are revising policies 371 and 70, 71 and 72.
No, I'm combining them into this one
So what we're going
policy.
to do,
Yep.
when we get to the second read, is
Yep.
we will also have on our agenda to delete or eliminate policies 370, 71, and 72. It's not revised.
Yep, definitely not revised,
And
yeah.
for the benefit of the
basically deleting
members,
them.
370 was last updated in 2007, 371 and 72, and all of these were very, probably a little bit too prescriptive, were last updated in 1994. So I think we were more than overdue for this combination. Anyone
I
have
think
any
just
questions?
from a process perspective, this is great. I love internal controls. But for us, it would be helpful to see 70, 71, and 72 stricken so that we can see what you're replacing with what. Because it's now I'm having to go and look at those now and say, all right, what am I getting rid of? Just in case there's something in there that I didn't think we wanted to get rid of. Just from a process perspective going forward, if we could see the other 3 that we're getting rid of, even if you just read, these are going away so that I can compare.
Yeah.
But I wholeheartedly support and agree that more controls over our cash is greatly needed. Appreciate it.
And Deb, to your point, it's an excellent point. I think what we'll do is for this instance, if you don't mind, when we have second read, we'll have copies of the old policies as well to refer to in red, struck, however we want to do it. And then in the future, that should be taking place with first read as well.
What is the difference between what we just received from Mr. Haskins and what was in the packet?
What you received in the first packet was a draft that is substantially similar to what you received afterwards, but there were some minor changes.
Which one is posted online? This one?
I don't think any of the support materials were posted online.
Yeah, they are.
Then the one that is in your board packet was posted online. There was a clerical error with that. The one that I passed to you this evening is the one that should have been posted online. Very minor changes.
Well, it's a first read, so.
Yeah, so that's true. So for example, the word building principal has been replaced with principal. The word business manager has been replaced with executive director of business and finance, and just some formatting.
So we'll just make sure for the second read, this one gets posted online, and then we just have copies of the ones that are being stricken.
Yes, we will do that.
I've got it pulled up, the one that's online right now. I think it is the new one. But let's get it confirmed to your point.
I thought we were going to increase the petty cash amount too.
No?
No? Thought we discussed that was a
We
little
did have
low.
that discussion in the policy meeting, and then I know I was okay with going with Mr. Andrade's recommendation. Did you have any objection?
I don't know, we had discussed, I think, $50, but I didn't know.
No, he mentioned that he really wanted to stay at 20. More control, the better, I guess, in certain instances in life. Okay, that's it for first read for those policies. We will bring, oh, Jocelyn, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I didn't know if Kim was done with questions. You good, Kim?
All set, thanks.
Okay. Just for my understanding, so under disbursements, funds must be used solely to finance non-curricular student activities, augmenting but not replacing district-funded programs. What does that mean? What is this money used for? Do you have any, examples?
Yeah, so this policy covers two different examples. One is the student funds is used strictly for students. Could be a field trip, could be different things that the Feinstein money covers similarly to a student fund. There's many different
Fundraising.
fundraising.
Does each class have a fund?
There's like 40 accounts. We have tons.
Okay.
Yeah. Because for instance, we talked about the Lego Club. They have their own fund. Now that money will be put into that student fund. Each class has a fund, including some middle school classes as well. And just basically, again, it's all strictly student funds. There's nothing going back that would, fix a window or something like that.
So what's the difference? And then athletic funds are different?
Yep. So athletic
Used
is
differently?
Yeah, so athletic has its own account as well, called the
Okay.
6A account. And that's used strictly for athletics. Still student funds, but the athletic programs.
But it doesn't pay for coaches or personnel or anything like
No,
that?
it would be, it might be, the football account has a certain account, and they want to get a certain software to help their team with, videotaping teams to meet and that type of stuff. The soccer team might use their fund for new nets, et cetera. So
Gotcha.
everything's towards the team.
All goes back to the kids one way or another?
Absolutely, yep.
And then I just don't understand what, under contracts and commitments, what does it mean with advisors and coaches may not obligate the school or district without prior approval?
Yep, so part of another policy is all contracts and commitments must go through me. So
Okay.
we're not given, advisors and coaches are not allowed to obligate the school where
I
now
gotcha,
we're on
okay.
the hook for the money because they put us in a liability situation.
Yeah, they went and got a contract for something
Yep.
without telling anyone?
Correct.
Gotcha,
Yep.
okay. Thank you.
No problem.
You don't want a contract for all new bleachers and just present it to you for payment?
You don't want anyone going rogue.
All right, great questions. Thank you, everyone. All right. We will have this one on for a second reading at our next meeting. Item I, monthly financial reports for October and November. Again, Mr. Andrade.
All right, good evening again. I'm presenting the financial report for October, November. As you know, we didn't have a meeting last month, but Ms. Palish was very kind to review and acknowledge receipt of the October financials this way so I could provide it to the town council on our monthly cadence. So with no meeting in November, I did include October and then obviously the usual November data. Excuse me, nothing out of the ordinary. It's the usual cadence with special education tuition, related service contracts, out-of-district placement, transportation, et cetera. I will report this time, I have, with Superintendent Haskins, paused all general, non-essential purchases across the district. Not that I'm concerned about anything, I just think it's a good financial way to keep attention to the district's ongoing fiscal oversight and any delays, emergency building needs, on-time sensitive operations will continue, but all critical requests will be held and reviewed, probably till like March timeframe, I'm thinking right now, but I'll continue to review it with the team on a daily basis. So from that end, so that touched base on operating expenses. Realized revenue, as you can see in your memo, we're almost up to $200,000 in Medicaid reimbursements with initial budget offset of 65. So that's sustaining a great surplus of $133,000 right now for any unknowns that might arrive later in the year. And again, we get Medicaid reimbursements on a monthly basis, so that will increase throughout the year. So that's good and keeps us healthy. So with that, any questions that you would like to ask concerning any budget line items or anything in the report?
Anyone have anything?
I'd like to talk about Medicaid reimbursements again.
Okay.
What percentage of Medicaid reimbursements that we receive is going to special education?
So all Medicaid reimbursements, if I'm understanding your question, all Medicaid reimbursements go into a reserve account. So nothing is reallocated without the school committee permission. So I just offset the original $65,000 that was approved by the school committee per the budget, and everything else is sitting in a fund balance, if you would, a reserve account.
And bear in mind, right, it's reimbursements for expenditures we've already incurred from our
Correct.
general appropriation.
Correct.
And other places.
Yep.
So it gets put into our quote-unquote general fund.
Yeah, there is quite a few school districts that do budget Medicaid. For instance, Portsmouth uses $300,000 a year. We only did 65 because of, I want to be fiscal responsible and leave that, any overage to a reserve account if need be.
So other districts, to your point, they budget it as revenue to offset their general expenses.
quite
Their
higher than,
operating
yes.
expense, a lot higher than we do.
Yeah, a lot of East Bay districts are in the $300,000-$400,000 range.
But given, I mean, again, you're only, how many how
15 months about?
15 months in, that you wanted to be really conservative
Yeah,
and just,
we
you'd rather
went-
have some extra to, okay.
Correct, we went with 65. Yeah, as Sarah's saying, it could go to special ed, but as of right now, it's not being appropriated without the school committee permission. It sits in an account.
Well, yeah, it's, if we have an overage in special ed or
Correct.
other, you'll make a recommendation where it gets
Absolutely.
used if we need it.
Absolutely.
And is the adult service program, are they billing Medicaid also, or is it just, oh, they do, okay. And so everyone's trained when they first, any new person's trained?
Yes.
Is there like a master list that you check and make sure that they're doing their?
Yeah, so Jenna, my admin assistant, does check that. And we've actually seen an increase in our Medicaid reimbursements through that oversight, so that's been good. But we also have to train our new teachers too. That's something that we
Right.
have to start doing as well, so they can just help support our teacher assistants who are filling out those sheets and logs.
Okay. All right, that's all I have, thanks.
And just to kind of dovetail on Deb's earlier point, I think this is the first year we have included anything for Medicaid in our projections. Previous years, right, we had a number of years where we were part of a collaborative, and we had zero control over what we would receive. We were also enjoying large fund balances in those days, so we didn't have the need, right? We were able to, kind of use that for the quote-unquote rainy day that ultimately did come. So at this point, we don't have a rainy day fund whatsoever, and, anything that we can build up by being frugal, by being conservative in all aspects, I think is going to be helpful to the district in the long run. Okay, last item on our agenda, FY27 budget planning.
So just wanted to keep everyone up to date of the key charter dates in our fiscal, in the upcoming fiscal year 27. So nothing has changed. As you know, there is a charter review commission in town, but nothing has changed to date. It's about a year out before any actual changes occur. So these are similar dates, but I will mention that, as Superintendent said in his update, is we started to meet with the principals, the directors, and key department heads concerning their budgets. Even spoke to Ms. Cusimano about CT budget for next year. That's part of Perkins and Categorical in the entitlement grant area. And we're hoping to roll everything up shortly after Christmas and then wait on guidance from the trusts as far as medical increases, state aid increases. There is a slight change to the funding formula at the state level. So they are adopting a little different funding formula. It's still a similar funding formula, but they're taking a small percentage of free and reduced lunch students on a monthly basis. So that is something new to all Rhode Island districts. So we're just seeing how that plays out. So we're hoping to present a first draft roll-up around the end of February, which is similar to last year. And then we would just follow the key charter dates that I have listed here in your backup.
That's late.
That's late.
Yeah.
We've always begun our budget discussions much sooner than that.
You have. Last year was February, though. You usually did around Christmas, I believe.
Christmas was when we would get our packet, if you
Yeah,
will.
so if you remember last year, I came on board October, and we were doing audit and everything in February. I like February. We can make any changes as you please, Chair, but I like February just because of things I just said. There's a lot of things happening after February 1st. Those are key dates, such as the trust medical increases, state aid comes at the end of January, beginning of February, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of, to give anything before that is, again, you're estimating a budget is estimated, but you can get some better numbers after February 1st.
So can we, thinking ahead to a very compressed budget season, right? We have to have everything wrapped up by March 19th.
Yes.
In the past, prior to your getting here, what we traditionally did was we held workshops generally on Saturday mornings, starting in January, not every week. But what we would do is dig deep into some of the spending requests that we can anticipate having. For example, and I'm just taking this, don't read anything into it, but the technology is one, right? We can discuss what your technology needs are anticipated to be, how much those needs are expected to cost, so that we can start going through some of this stuff before you get your estimates for things like Blue Cross and state aid. I don't know what everyone thinks about that. I know we have 2 new members. I did speak with Mrs. Pavo today. She's amenable to that.
Yes.
I feel like we're going to need at least, if you want to wait till February, we can, but we're going to need some early February Saturday.
Yeah, I do apologize to Chair Farnworth's point.
Oh, please don't apologize. It's a discussion, right? We're back and forth with this.
Yeah, in January, we would have those segments such as special ed, technology, transportation. But I was speaking to the full roll-up was February timeframe last year. So the full UCOA budget was presented in February, but we had different segments of the budget, such as special education, transportation, utilities, and technology done in January during a January presentation.
Yeah, so
You are
when would
correct.
you feel comfortable being ready to present a first pass to us?
I was thinking early February, but we would have those teams do a presentation maybe earlier. We can discuss offline.
And it's like, I'm not even talking about the presentations here, that's more for the public for me.
Yeah,
It's those deep dive workshops where we're able to, really, that's our time.
Yeah.
To dig in and focus on that, so, I don't know, put some thought to it maybe, because, February just, and that's okay, maybe it's 1 or 2 in February, and we just.
Yeah, I do agree with having those earlier workshops, but I just wouldn't want to present a full UCOA until we had some more affirmative numbers.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
When does state aid typically come out? And I realize you have a preliminary number, you got a secondary number.
It's middle to end of January, I forget the exact date, but they have to give a prelim, I think, like around New Year's, shortly after New Year's, and then we
And
get
that
it.
prelim is generally the governor's recommendation, is that the case?
Correct, yes.
Also, you made mention of a change to the funding formula.
Mhm.
How do you expect that to impact us?
I just received an email today, so I'm not exactly sure. There's a new CFO at Rhode, and I'm assuming he's making a slight change. But the only change for us is giving some numbers for free and reduced students. I think it can only help us versus prior funding formulas.
Right, so that's
Yeah.
only the revenue side. We can certainly start looking at the expense side.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's,
Yeah.
that's kind of where
Yeah.
I want to start.
Yeah, and again, we're starting to build that. It's just obviously to see what the revenue offsets to,
Okay,
you
well,
know?
yeah, just,
Yeah.
I mean, would you guys amenable to like a Saturday workshop? I mean, that's how we did it before, right?
Yeah, whatever you prefer, all about fiscal responsibility, transparency.
They're open meetings.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they are dedicated to
Yep.
this one thing.
Yep.
Right,
and
and that's
it'll-
what's nice, is
Yeah.
it's just the
Yeah.
budget.
And the superintendent and I have discussed putting together a couple of community forums as well.
Well,
So-
so maybe just get back to us, maybe
Yep.
Diane, on timing from their end? Because I don't want you to present something you're not ready to present either. We're amenable to changing the process.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I have a general good idea. I'm just waiting for some.
So on the 15th, when we have that Budget Committee, Council, School Committee meeting, it really, there's nothing to share at that point.
Well, the 15th is the deadline to have that meeting.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever we have it,
Yeah.
I'm just hearing it's way
No,
too early to really
January.
share anything
It's a
of
joint meeting.
substance.
We could. I just hate to share anything
Well,
that.
yeah, that's gonna
it just- That could change 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, yeah,
And you're
I
talking
hear
some
ya.
big numbers, you know?
Yeah, I think at that point, it's very premature.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
we can at least talk.
And there's some things, again, we met with the principals and directors, there's some things that the superintendent and I have asked them to do that involves the budget, to come back to us as a second pass. Again, that was just a first draft meeting. So, we're working every day at getting a finalized first draft budget to you. Try. We're still doing the FY25 audit too, so.
So the workshop is an open meeting?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Oh, all of our meetings are open. It's just, this is something that we can focus on for an extended amount of time without having 14 other things.
Yeah, so we can
to talk about
discuss
on the
with,
agenda.
we can discuss some dates.
Okay.
And go from there. I like those ideas.
And in the past, we really limited it to school committee comment, because
Mhm.
it's our opportunity to
Absolutely.
dig into the budget. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean there won't be other opportunities for the public, but we try to limit at least the initial ones to school committee members. Because we cannot meet outside an open meeting, so we're not discussing it until we're all together.
I was just wondering, because we didn't do that last year, so I was just wondering how
Yeah,
that all.
Brendan was new, so we didn't have any.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much, Brendan. Announcements for future meetings. Our next regularly scheduled meeting is January 13th, 2026. Get ready to start writing 2026. And I'm going to imagine that we will be also asked to participate in the joint budget meeting workshop sometime right around there. But we'll be in touch with everyone on that. Now we will go ahead and move into executive session. If I could get a motion to move into executive session under Rhode Island General Law 4246 4A, which is a discussion of job performance, character, physical and mental health, which is the superintendent's evaluation. Rhode Island General Law 4246 4A2, session pertaining to collective bargaining for Council 94. And Rhode Island General Law 4246 4A2, session pertaining to litigation. May I have that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Jocelyn?
Yes.
I'm a yes.
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 Okay, we're in executive session. Thank you.